Berry, deed of gift for the Warren County School Board to Rusty Jeffers School.
Council is requested to approve a deed of gift to the school board that conveys a 25-foot by 425.14 strip of land containing 0.27 acres lying east of Acton Street and west of and adjacent to Rusty Jeffries to be used as a playground for the school for no consideration. We had one speaker signed up for this item, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
That's Melanie Shepard.
This public hearing is now open. Shepard, would you like to come and give your name and your address, please, for the record?
Thank you. Melody Shepard, 123 Locust Hill Road, Front Royal. Melody Shepard, Assistant Superintendent for Administration for Warren County Public Schools. I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Mayor, Town Council, and Town Manager for considering to deed the 0.27 acre parcel of land to the Warren County School Board. As you may know, we have spent the last year renovating Rusty Jeffries Elementary School to include new parking, new sidewalks, new front entrance, new exterior doors, windows, heating and cooling system, ceiling and floor. We have almost completed these renovations. The last item to be addressed is the playground. With the additional land adjacent to the playground, the designer will have more flexibility to the placement of the play equipment. It will also give our students a greater area to play and will bring a few pieces of playground equipment into compliance, which is encroaching on the 0.27 acres of land. If this land is deeded to the Warren County School Board, it will be a great benefit to the children of Rusty Jeffries Elementary School. We would like to thank you for consideration of the deed of this property to the Warren County School Board. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Berry, confirm there's no one else?
Correct.
Public hearing is now closed. Gentlemen, have a motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move the council approve a deed of gift to the Warren County School Board that conveys 28 by 425.14 strip of land containing 0.27 acres lying east of Acton Street and west of the adjacent to the Rusty Jeffries Elementary School to be used as a playground for the school and for no other consideration.
Second.
Have a motion, second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Berry, roll call.
Councilman Connolly?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Seelow?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Seabaugh?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, guys. All right, next public hearing is special use permit application for Robinson for 8 West 14th Street. Do we have any signed up for that, Ms. Berry?
We do not.
I'd like to open this meeting. Since there's no one here to speak for it, meeting is closed. Gentlemen, can I get a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move that council approve a special use permit application submitted by Seymour Robinson on behalf of the owner, Allie Nicole, LLC, Mark Smoot, for a request to modify the conditions of an existing special use permit as presented.
Second.
Have a motion, second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Berry, roll call.
Councilman Connolly?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Seelow?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Seabaugh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, next public hearing is a special use permit application for Dwight Dutton Jr. at East 13th Street. Do we have anyone signed up for that, Ms. Berry?
We do not.
I'd like to open the meeting. Hearing there's nobody here to speak for or against, the meeting is closed. Gentlemen, can I have a motion, please?
I move that council approve a special use permit application submitted by Dwight Dutton Jr., owner of tax map 20A3, section 4, block 55, lot 25, for a non-conforming lot in the R1 district located on the north side of East 13th Street near Warren Avenue. Requests authorization to build a new single-family dwelling on such lot pursuant to Town Code 175-128.a. The lot has a width of 50 feet and a lot area of 7,500 square feet.
Second.
Okay, have a motion, second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Ms. Berry?
Councilman Connolly?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Seelow?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Seabaugh?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next public hearing, ordinance amendment to Chapter 158 to Joint Towing Board. So this is going to be the first reading. Ms. Berry.
Council is requested to affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend Chapter 158, Vehicle and Traffic of the Town Code by adding sections 158-54 through 69 to create a joint towing board that considers applications of towing recovery businesses to be added to a towing list from which the Sheriff's Office, Police Department, and Virginia State Police can request a towing operator to perform towing services at the scene of an emergency or accident. The county board has approved a similar ordinance, and there was no one signed up to speak.
Okay. Public hearing is now open. No one spoke. Meeting closed. Gentlemen, can I have a motion, please?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I move the council affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend Chapter 158, Vehicle and Traffic of the Town of Front Royal Municipal Code by adding sections 158-54-158-69 to create a joint towing board that considers applications of towing recovery businesses to be added to a towing list from which the Warren County Sheriff's Office, Town of Front Royal's Police Department, and Virginia State Police can request a towing operator to perform towing services at the scene of an emergency or accident.
Second.
We have a motion second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I believe the initial conversations for this initiative got started between the town and the county something close to 2 years ago. I'm glad to see that we're getting to that point now where we can adopt this and begin working with the county to solve the problem of unscrupulous practices or problematic practices among the towing operators who either are overcharging or are impounding vehicles that are not charging fair rates to people who have had accidents. So I'm glad that we're going to be working together, the town and the county and the state police in our community to solve that issue.
Anyone else? Ms. Berry, roll call, please.
Councilman Connolly?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Seelo?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Tiwa?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, next public hearing is going to be an ordinance amendment to Chapter 170, Weeds, Debris. First reading, Ms. Berry.
Council is requested to affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend Chapter 170, Weeds and Debris of the Town as presented. If approved, the proposed modifications will improve the town's ability to effectively enforce regulations governing high grass and trash removal in a timely manner. The council held a public hearing on this amendment on October 13th, 2015. The second reading was held on November 9, 2015, where council voted not to amend the ordinance.
Public hearing is now open. Ms. Berry, do you have anybody to speak?
We do not.
Public hearing closed. Gentlemen, can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move that the council affirm on the first reading the ordinance to amend Chapter 170, Weeds and Debris of the Town of Front Royal Municipal Code as presented.
All right, we have a motion second. Discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I voted against this twice in 2015. I'm going to vote against it again tonight. I find that this is a measure designed to stop ugly weeds from growing up in houses, but which could have some fairly significant unintended consequences when it comes to the enforcement thereof. I'm particularly worried about people who leave their homes for a significant amount of time, several weeks. This ordinance allows the town manager to issue a written citation within 10 days to take further legal action and has a scale of increasing fines up to $3,000 for people who are offending, and every day beyond the initial citation counts as an additional encroachment against the ordinance. So again, for the same reason I voted this down a year ago, it's brought back now literally a couple of days after it's now allowed to be brought back again for consideration under a new council. I'm going to vote no on this.
Anyone else?
Mr. Mayor, when you see property beside your own home that's been abandoned for almost a year, grass is unattended, rodents are running free in your backyard, you would get a little upset over this non-compliance. And in this case, I will be voting for this simply because we need some kind of enforcement code and I'm a strong enforcer of any ordinance that we pass, so I would expect our staff to abide by any ordinance that we pass.
Anyone else? Hearing none, Ms. Berry, roll call, please.
Councilman Conley,
No.
Councilman Gillespie,
Yes.
Councilman Meza,
No.
Councilman Morrison,
Yes.
Councilman Selah,
Yes.
and Vice Mayor T-Wall.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next public hearing is an ordinance amendment, chapter 66, tethering of dogs. This will be the first reading. Ms. Berry.
Council is requested to affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend Chapter 66 of the Town Code as presented. If approved, it would authorize tethering for dogs and other canines by meeting certain requirements, to prohibit certain tethering practices, and to set the penalty for violating the ordinance. This ordinance does mirror the Board of Supervisors' recently approved ordinance, and we have one speaker, Ms. Forrest.
This meeting is now, public hearing is now open. We have our first, Ms. Forrest.
And I do have one picture that I'd like to give Councilman. My name's Carol Boris, 1319 Madison Avenue, Front Royal. I'd like to speak this evening in support of the proposed tethering ordinance. First of all, I would like to offer an apology to any council members that received any inappropriate or rude emails in regards to this. It is not something that I would condone or encourage in any way. The people that support my outreach and the things that I do within the county understand what's at stake, and they're supportive and understand that we need to go about this in the right way. So I do apologize to anyone that was sent anything inappropriate. I brought some pictures, and I know some of you have seen the pictures. This is in doing the community outreach in the town and county. This is how I found out about the conditions of the dogs, the ones that are tethered. We have, the female dogs that are tethered out, and they are impregnated over and over again because there's nothing to protect them. We have puppies that are tethered. We have ones that are tethered 24 hours a day, and they're tangled in things that are in the yard, and they stay that way until somebody comes home or somebody realizes that they are tangled in debris. These dogs are tethered or chained 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I did share another picture. That's my latest referral. His name is Ace. He is 2 years old, and I got a referral for him last week. His life has consisted of being on the end of a rope. And if you look at the picture that was given, he's an extremely aggressive dog. And tethering or chaining a dog 24 hours a day, 7 days a week causes that aggression. And that's a danger to the community. That dog is, if it were to get loose, which if you look at the end of the rope that's tied to the post, it's frayed because he lunges, and that's what he does. He has since received a kennel and a dog house, so he is off that tether, and that's one of the things that I help to do. So I would just hope that you would support this tethering ordinance so that it would be consistent for animal control to enforce in the town and in the county. And it's not placing anything other than what would be required of someone who owns a dog. It's just make provisions, make accommodations for them other than this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Forrest. Anyone else signed up, Ms. Berry?
That was the only speaker.
I'll public hearing is closed. A motion, please.
Mr. Mayor, I move that council affirm on its first reading an ordinance to amend Chapter 66 of the Town of Front Royal Municipal Code as presented.
Have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, I have one question. Ms. Morris, in regards to the town, how many citations or calls do you get in regards to dogs being tethered in the wrong way or having somebody want to come in and enforce the tethering laws?
How many do I get?
No, yeah, I mean, how many do you suspect are in the town of Front Royal and not the county? By the way, is this picture in the county or is it in town?
That's right outside the town limits, that dog.
So you really don't know how many people or how many complaints we have on the dog issue right at this present time?
No, but I mean, in regards to what I do, I get referrals at least once or twice a week.
Okay, so the actual complaint goes to the dog warden, is that correct?
If they're just asking for help from a community outreach such as myself, for help with a dog house or a kennel to get that dog, then they call me. If someone sees something that they feel, that is the dog's being neglected, of course that goes through the sheriff's department,
Okay,
the
thank you.
animal control.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to comment. Received a lot of feedback over the last few weeks pertaining to the tether ordinance. And first of all, I want to just clarify that it isn't just a tether ordinance. It also has specifications on when your animals can be outside, depending on the weather, adequate shelter, and so forth. But a lot of feedback that prompted me to want to write my thoughts down in a succinct manner so that I can kind of go through some of the information that has been shared with me. So first and foremost, there's been a lot of misinformation circulating about the animal ordinance laws and what we truly have in place now to protect all animals and not just dogs. The misrepresentation of the facts has caused people to be upset and concerned that the town does not adopt a stricter and more defined ordinance. Dogs will continue to suffer horrendous acts of violence and gross neglect, causing continual pain. And I want to clarify that currently all animals are and will continue to be protected from acts of animal cruelty by the state and our current town code as it is written today. For people who are unaware of the code pertaining to cruelty of animals, I'd like to read a few sections of the code. I'm going to read it verbatim, so I'm going to look at my paper. First and foremost, State Code 3.2-6585 defines, all dogs and cats shall be deemed personal property and may be the subject of larceny, malicious, or unlawful trespass. And I'm only bringing this up because when I referenced dogs as private property in an earlier work session, I was referring to the state code, and I was not diminishing the legitimacy of the concern or downplaying animals. And I thought that was an important fact to state. Town code, or current town code 66-4. Any person who overrides, overdrives, overloads, tortures, ill-treats, or cruelly or unnecessarily beats, maims, mutilates, or kills any animal, whether belonging to himself or another, or deprives any animal of necessary sustenance, food or drink, causes any of the above things, or being the owner of such animal, permits such acts to be done by another, or willfully sets on foot, instigates, engages in, or in any way furthers acts of cruelty to any animal, or shall carry or cause to be carried in or upon any vehicle or vessel, or otherwise any animal in cruel, brutal, or inhumane manner, so as to produce torture and unnecessary suffering, shall be guilty of a misdemeanor. I thought that was very important to bring to light that is the current town code that protects animals. Lastly, Article 2 of the state code goes on to define animal welfare under 3.2-6503, stating, each owner shall provide for each of his companion animals adequate feed, adequate water, adequate shelter that is properly cleaned, adequate space in the primary enclosure for a particular type of animal, depending upon its age, size, species, and weight, adequate exercise, adequate care, treatment, transportation, and veterinarian care when needed to prevent suffering or disease transmission. So, to be clear, I've always supported current laws pertaining to the enforcement of animal cruelty and humane treatment of animals. I'm just disappointed that people felt compelled to send me pictures of maimed animals, bloodied and starved dogs, and lobby threats against my family, presumably because I wasn't protecting abused animals if I voted against a more defined ordinance on animal cruelty. Frankly, threats against my family seemed rather disingenuous, coming from those who worry about cruelty inflicted upon animals by their owners. The problem is that there are those who want the above code to be more prescriptive and take away the right of varying interpretations of the discretion of our animal control officers. But maybe there is an extraordinary circumstance in the town of Front Royal that is forcing us to confront this issue, besides a small amount of people who are vocal about a particular passion of theirs. So, to be fair, I gathered the data for the objective viewpoint, and to Councilman T-Walt's point, 2016, we have 5,441 dog licenses between the town and the county. We have 28 complaints for animal cruelty. That's 0.5% of all animal owners. We have complaints. 2017, 5,614 licenses. We have 40 complaints, unique complaints against animal cruelty. That's 0.7%. But to be clear, these are complaints, not convictions. So I'd ask my fellow councilmen, do these numbers truly demonstrate a unique circumstance that would compel us to make and define new laws regulating the defined by our state code private property of animal owners in our community? I believe that we should not use this authority haphazardly, and we should be careful in the unique cases we as a governing body feel compelled to enforce new regulatory laws on our citizens. Furthermore, we should be concerned about the precedent this will set. When the six of us receive demands to address animal owners who feel the need to create stricter laws for their unique animal needs, as we've seen with the cats in the couple weeks prior. If it is not apparent, I'm not going to vote to create a new standard defining all aspects of how one should take care of their animal according to the town of Front Royal, and don't believe my fellow councilmen should do so either.
Anyone else? Ms. Berry, roll call, please.
Councilman Connolly.
No.
Councilman Gillespie.
Yes.
Councilman Meza.
No.
Councilman Morrison.
No.
Councilman Seelow.
Yes.
Vice Mayor T-Wall.
I'm voting for it after I heard the issue, so I'm going to say yes.
And my vote is yes. All right, moving along. Council approval. Ordinance amendment pertaining to banner poles, second reading.
Mr. Mayor, I move the council adopt on its second and final reading an ordinance to amend and reenact Front Royal Town Code Section 142-20 pertaining to the application process for and display of banners promoting civic events on town banner poles as presented.
Second.
A motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Berry, roll call, please.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie.
Yes.
Councilman Meza.
Yes.
Councilman Morrison.
Yes.
Councilman Seelow.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor T-Wall.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, council approval, HEPTAD, request for extensions to submit development plan, Ms. Berry.
Second.
Sorry, I caught you off guard.
Pardon?
Caught you off guard.
You did. You're going quick this evening. Council is requested to consider approval of request from HEPTAD LLC to extend their deadline to submit a development plan. Town code requires that a development plan be submitted within 1 year of approval of the master land use plan. The town code allows the deadline to be extended by town council. Council approved a 1-year extension in 2016 that expires December 3rd of this year.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the request of HEPTAD LLC for 1 year extension to submit their required development plans for property referred to as Swan Estates HEPTAD until December the 3rd, 2018.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Berry, roll call.
Councilman Connolly.
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie.
Yes.
Councilman Meza.
Yes.
Councilman Morrison.
Yes.
Councilman Seelow.
Yes.
And Vice Mayor T-Wall.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, council appointment, Board of Agricultural Review. Can I have a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move, let me get down to the thing.
It's okay.
I move the council reappoint Gary D. Vaughn to the Board of Architectural Review to a 4-year term, said term to expire November the 13th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, have a motion second, any discussion? Ms. Berry, roll call.
Councilman Connolly?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Seelock?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Seelock?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to council appointment. Urban Forestry Advisory Committee, UFAC. Gentlemen, can I have a motion, please?
Mr. Mayor, I move that council reappoint Sarah M. Wills to the Urban Forestry Advisory Commission to a 4-year term, said term to expire December 20th, 2021.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion second, any discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Berry, roll call.
Councilman Connolly?
Yes.
Councilman Gillespie?
Yes.
Councilman Meza?
Yes.
Councilman Morrison?
Yes.
Councilman Seelock?
Yes.
And Vice Mayor Seelock?
Yes.